Hey, what's up, guys? Here we are, Monster Motivator TV, episode number 14. We are in the beautiful downtown Old Town San Diego. The first spot that I ever came to in 2005 when I came out here on vacation. This area is very special to me. This area really sold me on Southern California. So I have a little special place in my heart for Old Town San Diego. And we're here with my friend Ann Bomar. I always forget the first last name. Heradic. She owns a thriving public adjusting firm in San Diego in the Southern California area. She's actually a licensed public adjuster in the whole state. And we're actually business associates, being that I have the fire restoration business. But I wanted to introduce you guys to Ann because she has such an awesome story for entrepreneurs, for business owners, or for people that just want to make a change and find that courage to move forward in whatever industry they're in, or even on their personal life. She's been an entrepreneur pretty much her whole adult life, right? I would say. And but she's also wore a lot of hats that she'll be able to share a lot of unique wisdom with you, because she's also been a large loss adjuster for Allstate for how many years?
I started out in 1984.
1984 to
about 1992.
About 1992. So, you know, the leadership role that she had to take on. I want her to share with you the stories and the things that she's accomplished over the years, and then the things that she's looking to do down the road, because I know she has a lot of great goals set up for herself. So that being said, let me have Annie introduce herself. And Annie, just share with everyone where you came from, where you're at, and where you expect yourself going.
Well, I originally started out in the insurance industry back in Dallas, Texas. That was back when there was large companies, so I was corporate. And I worked in Dallas, Texas for about 9 years, and eventually got myself into claims. And the first storm I worked at was Andrew in 1992, when I began to see the catastrophe. And that's when my eyes started to open up and see how there was a need to help people.
Okay.
Because they were overwhelmed.
Right. How did you like working in the corporate world? Because having an entrepreneur's DNA, it's a lot of times it seems like it's it's tough. It's a tough road. It would be tough for me.
It was a tough road, but it was during a period I was still going to college.
Okay.
And I did have small children, and so it was hard for me to stay in the cube. So eventually that's why I decided to work my way out to the field, because there was a lot more freedom in them.
Yeah, and that goes along with your DNA.
Yeah.
Right? Because we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. We need that change. Now I know that you also had some other businesses with your ex-husband.
Yes, one of my ex-husbands, we had a computer store. Okay. And then my other ex-husband, we had a bagel store.
Okay. So, all right. There you go. Now, when you were with Allstate, did you have people under you? Did you have to oversee a staff?
I didn't oversee a staff. I was based out of Dallas, Texas, but my territory was New Mexico, Arizona, and parts of Utah. And it was during a period where there was very few people, females specifically, in the field. So it was not only physically challenging, it was also mentally challenging because of the commute that you had to do constantly.
Yeah, and you know, that's the other thing I'm excited to bring Annie on for, is because she's in an industry, and she's been in an industry for such a long time, that's such male-dominated industry. So not only do you have the obstacles of either running your division in Allstate, overseeing people, creating that leadership role, but you also have that obstacle of a man-dominated industry. Would you say that's been an obstacle?
That has been an obstacle for many years, especially when you get into the world of construction. Even today, you don't see a lot of females in the field, in the world of
GC, like
a general contractor, or even as an appraiser, or as a public adjuster, as far as the structure is concerned, the building.
So would you say really the obstacle was, probably still is, depending on who you're dealing with, is right off the bat, is to set that tone. Listen, I'm here to do my job. This is what I do. I do it very well, and let's move on. Is that kind of the tone?
You have to be able to own your own, and you have to be able to prove still today that you know construction like the back of your hand just as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it all comes down to self-image. Like I talk about is you have to have that strong self-image. Now, being in this male-dominated industry for so long, how much do you feel like that's helped your self-image? Has it helped your inner confidence?
I think in the beginning it helped my confidence when I started realizing I could climb roofs. I actually knew how to lay a roof.
Okay.
And then slowly to build my self up to the point where I know construction from electrical to plumbing to being able to, I was my own GC at my own condo.
Okay.
And it builds a lot of confidence in that you're capable of doing more than you think you can, and you're also able to run a budget, and you have a lot to offer, but you have to still stand your ground.
Right. And see, a great point is, she figured it out. She just kept moving forward, and she just figured it out, and the people and the circumstances came in to make it happen. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yes. To surround yourself around, whether it's male or female, a support system that you're willing to teach something to someone and they're willing to teach something to you.
Yes.
And,
a win-win.
And it's a win-win, and it's always about growth.
Okay.
Pushing on yourself harder than you think you can.
Okay.
And moving on to the next step.
And see, I can't wait for your answer on this question, because you've wore both hats. You've been in deep in the corporate world, but you've also been an entrepreneur, right? And you are right now. How important is effective leadership in either realm?
You have to lead your staff, your team, your network by example. And it's a daily basis, minute by minute. Never ask anyone to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. Okay.
That's been your kind of recipe for success?
Yes.
Right? And, my mantra is motivation, inspiration, and perspiration. So the motivation as the leader of your company, or when you were with Allstate, is figuring out what that goal, that destination is for you and your team.
Yes.
And then the inspiration is figuring out their why, or your why, right?
Right.
Does it make sense? And then nothing happens without perspiration, and we both know that.
Right. It's a discipline to be an entrepreneur, because you're always brainstorming, but at the same time you're having to create the revenue to move on to the next place.
Right.
So you're wearing many hats at one time.
And you don't know. The reason that entrepreneurship works so well with our DNA is because, it's a double-edged sword. It's you wake up in the morning, you don't know what you're going to really come across, but at the same time, that becomes our oxygen. So understanding yourself, your own level of awareness on whether or not you really have the DNA to be an entrepreneur, and if you don't, that's okay too. But how important is your level of awareness as a leader and as an entrepreneur?
I think I've always heard about consciousness, which I practice. I think there's subconsciousness. So to be able to get both of them to work together at the same time is really important. And the other thing is live your passion. Okay. There isn't a day I don't wake up that I don't want to run this company. Right. Or I want to go create something else. I don't need someone telling me what to do, because I have a love and passion for what I do. And
I'm glad it's a great lead in, because this is the other thing that I'm excited to have Annie on. I call her Annie. Everyone calls her Ann, but I get away with calling her Annie. She's taken it even a step further in her personal life, where she just got her captain's license, right? Correct. Her goal in the next few years is to actually live on her own boat at the harbor, right, in San Diego Harbor. Correct. When that happens, you know what you say, it stinks, but somebody has to do it, right? And then she just got a motorcycle. Yes. So she's part of the club now. We brought her in. The obstacles, the struggles don't stop her from moving forward, right? She doesn't worry about how in the very beginning, as long as that why is big enough. Would that be accurate?
That's correct. And just when you think you've pushed on yourself hard enough, you probably have not.
Okay.
You have to push it to the next level. And in my business, what I do with insurance, in representing people, you have to be very detailed oriented, but also you have to be very global and know what's going on with the clients at one time. So it's always stimulating.
Now, for the people that they're not familiar with a public adjuster, explain what that is.
I'm an advocate for people. An example would be if your house burns down and you have a disagreement, or you personally just do not want to handle the large loss from the building to the contents to temporary housing. We come in and we take over for you, and we take the headache away. and it's a real advocate position.
And they're licensed and bonded in the state.
In the state, we're
right?
licensed and bonded in the state of California.
Yeah, and I'm familiar because I used to have a public adjusting firm back east, so very familiar with her industry, and it's a huge support for somebody going through something like that, especially if they've never been through it before in their life. Now, we still have more to unfold here. I know that Annie also had a yoga studio, right?
In 2002, I came to California, and I was running around trying to figure out meditation, working out at the gym, and running outside. And someone, I had tried yoga years ago, and it was kind of a very fluff yoga.
Yeah.
Someone took me to a yoga studio, and I never left that studio.
Wow.
I got in stealth shape. And I was bound and determined one day I was going to own my own studio. And I also wanted to design yoga clothing that were made for to be more flexible and everything. So I went out and I took myself down to Costa Rica to the SARA Institute, and then over to Chiang Mai, Thailand, because I'd never really touched anyone in yoga. So I opened up a studio in Del Mar, Palm Tree Yoga, in 2008.
Wow.
But I took almost a whole year off of work when I left corporate to re-educate myself in the holistic field.
Wow. So you took a yoga class and just jumped in with both feet.
I mean, fell in love with it, and I'm still in love with it.
What do you love about it?
I love that, first of all, most people don't realize yoga, it can be a workout.
Yeah.
And it does work out the body, but the body has muscle memory, so it can work out, and at the same time, you have to use your breath. And at the same time, you get relaxed. And so being a business owner, I am sometimes tense, even though I love what I do. So it really is a way to take the edge off.
So it's centering, like they
centering.
talk about in yoga, right?
Right.
You're Zen. And we talk about this a lot. My Zen just happens to be the weight room, right? I love, that's my release in the morning. But I've done yoga a number of times, and what I noticed for me is once I stayed with it, I got much more out of it. But if I went once and I didn't go for a while, I didn't get the same feeling.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of my market was females, but I also did a lot of executive levels one-on-one.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I would go to their office, or they would come to my studio, and they learned to relieve. 90% of them lost weight over just a few months.
Okay.
Just because of the muscles, working them out, the elasticity. Yeah, I launched it, and I had a great run. I even designed apparels, which I'm thinking of doing again.
Wow.
I'm bringing back maybe
Awesome.
a t-shirt line, so it's very exciting.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So these are things that you need to take away. Some of the big takeaways is she listens, what I call your inner GPS, right? Your gut feeling, that just know. And when you can do that and you can move forward, things start to unfold, and now she's in an industry where she has such a passion for, but she also is now getting back into an industry that's going to complement that. So, and I know, right, firsthand, that this is a very, very high stressed business.
Yes, it is.
It's a very high stress because you're with people and clients that are at some of the worst times of their life, right?
Yes, when you walk out of your house and your house just burns down.
Yes.
We're a large loss predominantly company. You've just lost everything. So there's a lot of triage. There's a lot of history that goes into being able to interpretate policy, being able to make sure the coverages are there, and most of all, my clients mean the most to me. And that's the bottom line. I have a passion for helping them. Yeah,
and this is an awesome industry, but your yoga just is such a compliment because it's so polar opposite, right?
Yes.
And is that you feel like that keeps that balance for you?
I think it keeps the balance. The other thing is just for me is just to be disciplined. I mean, to always every day plan what I want to accomplish, envision it even before I get out of bed.
Okay.
And set those goals. And just live your passion, what you really believe in and what makes you happy.
See, and it's so so good that you talked about visioning. You know, you have to vision because we think in pictures, right? Don't think of a pink elephant. What happens? We think of a pink elephant. Because we think in pictures, we can create that before we're even there. And how important do you feel like that is?
I think the beginning of it is self-discovery, to find out who you are, and then you get into focusing on you. And then when you get to the next level, it's all about visionary work.
Okay.
Like when I first started out, I created a board of what I wanted to see in my life.
So you had a vision board?
I had a vision board.
Okay.
And even today, even though I don't have a full vision, I still know where I want to be at in 10 years, hopefully.
Yes.
And so we're launching a new corporation in a month.
Okay. Awesome.
A Vantage Edge, where I'm bringing in a business partner, and it's exciting. But again, it's always creating.
So what's Advantage Edge? What is it?
It's a corporation that my business partner and I will own. And right now we're only in San Diego County, and eventually we hope to go up to Riverside and Orange County, and just spread out and become a stronger company. And also it helps to have partnerships. You know how I feel about that. Networking with people, having those
joint ventures.
Yeah, having those people with you can trust. Something I learned early on is you're never going to be the smartest person in the room. Yeah. And the minute you think you are, you're probably
you're in
not.
the wrong room.
Because
you're in the wrong room, right?
Everyone brings something to the table, and everyone is usually an expert in their niche.
So I love your steps because it makes so much sense. Is first and foremost, you have to understand who you are, right? And I always say, I want to enhance my weaknesses and double down on my strengths, right? And when you can do that, now that opens you up to real direction, which you're talking about vision, right? Writing down the goals and moving forward, and then letting the process, the universe, right, take place, let it unfold, because now you know who you are, you know the direction you're going, and you're willing to move forward in that uncertainty. You know,
Exactly right. And if you do fall on your butt, all I can say, you
right?
will, and those are the greatest things you learn from. Just dust yourself off and say, you know what? I learned a valuable lesson from this one.
Right, and if you do it over and over, that's when you don't learn. That's when it is a mistake. But when you fall down, you've never done it before, and you learn from it, you're not going to get that in any classroom that you can buy. You're just not going to get that, right?
Correct.
In any classroom that you buy. Now, how much? You know, I talk a lot about EQ and IQ. You know, my EQ just completely trumps my IQ, and that's just my DNA. That's my how I'm really built. How much do you feel IQ and EQ play in having a business, being an entrepreneur, or even being a leader inside a corporation?
I think the IQ comes into play if you do something, especially like technical, like the accounting I do.
The back end,
the back end, managing the budgets, and real, that comes into play. You have to be somewhat savvy. Mm-hmm. But the EQ is probably the largest, because emotional qualification, it tells you can trust your gut, and wisdom is so valuable.
It's everything.
It's everything.
Isn't it? It really is everything. That's why if we sat here with somebody who was 85 years old and they told us, this is really what I've done and this is probably what you should do, we're going to probably listen to at least a part of that, right?
Yes.
Because they've been there and done it. What I know about you is you have such a great combination of both. See, you can run that back end, but you can also run the front end. And then you can decide on really what you'd rather do. And I know now how you're building your business is you're staying more on the back end, right? And you have your business partner on the front end. But you could do both, and that's very unique. That's that's a great quality to have.
Right. And
oh, it came back.
Yeah, in our business, especially, it's a leap of faith because we're predominantly all commission.
Okay.
Yes.
And Terry Williamson, awesome lady. You guys always hear me say that, but I love this lady. She's a great support, and went through her own struggles and coming out on the other end, and she's in the fitness industry now, getting into great shape, becoming a personal trainer out in Arizona. She said she's loving this. She's loving your story, and you guys should really connect on Facebook if you can, because Terry, you'd really love Annie. She's an awesome lady, and I couldn't wait to share her story because of all the hats she's worn, both personally and professionally. You know, there's so much wisdom that comes across. Now, where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself going?
I think that we'll continue with Advantage Edge for about another 10 years, but on the side I will go back into the world of yoga.
Okay.
And it may be just apparel and private lessons. And then I see myself taking that boat down to the Caribbean, and probably getting into photography, charcoals, various things. Who knows what I'll end up doing, but
wow.
I see myself going in that direction, and that's just the beginning, building a dream. And I do believe in building a dream, and again that goes back to visionary.
Yeah, I mean, you're building an awesome dream. I mean, just got her motorcycle license, just got her first motorcycle captain's license, working on getting her own ship or boat, you would say, right, to live on. Right, to live on, and all that was done within a year. I mean, it's you know, she makes most people look like they're standing still, and there's so much more that she wants to do and accomplish, because I know we talk about this. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Correct. For any of us, right? So why not just go for it? That's my, you know, that's the way I look at things, and that's why we connect, right? We connect. So you want to share your feelings on that, on how you feel about that, and what you do about that?
You know, this could be our last day right here today. So what I say is, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you better, I plan my day out. I do it with, I always give myself a little free time to do something fun.
Okay.
I try to balance that out, but always projecting that this could be the last day.
Right.
And you use that energy in a very positive way, and you always build up others around you. That's the other thing. The more you build up others, the more you get back the positive energy. And if someone doesn't get you and understand your purpose, what you're trying to create, you still give them positive energy. It's just that they may not be there yet.
Yes.
Or they may not be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And they may not have that leap of faith to go out there and just say, I'm going to try it. And if I fail, I fail. They say in business that usually most people fail 3 or 4 times before they have a successful company. Yeah,
I think I just saw an interview with Elon Musk, and the guy said to him, and Elon sold PayPal and Tesla. I think he owns Tesla. And the interviewer said, after the 3rd failure, how come you didn't stop? He goes, because I don't even know what the word quit means. He goes, I have no idea what that means. It's not even part of my world. So that's part of being an entrepreneur. And you can build on that, right? If you need to. But you mentioned something, and I want to expand on that, is you said you wake up and you say to yourself, you remind yourself that this could be the last day. So what that goes, I go right back into gratitude. How important is gratitude to create that awesome day?
Gratitude is to always be thankful and always feel like you are blessed.
Okay.
And again, that's that positive energy. I think you and I know that. You wake out of bed, you set your goals for the day. You usually go exercise. You do whatever, you know. I roll into my yoga mat, and I get the day running, because that could be it. And I am grateful to be here every minute I'm here. See,
and gratitude, for me, gratitude is the most powerful tool that we have, because it could turn your bad day around on a dime if you really are tuned into that, if you really feel it, right? Would you agree?
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you would suggest if somebody's out there and they want to start a business, or they want to move up in their company in the corporate world? What are some of the things that you might suggest?
Well, one thing is, in the world of corporate, what they're always wanting to see is what you're capable of still learning, your leadership, the quality, the integrity you bring to it. So I always say keep learning.
Okay.
And that's what got me. I think I changed position 8 times.
Okay.
And I was on to let management know, and then you get into management, and every day, even though you're working corporate, you go in there and you work it like it was your own company.
There's the key. That's the golden nugget, right? Work it like it's your company. Now, when you do that, that to me goes right back to the leadership. That means they're doing their job.
Yes.
Would you agree?
I would agree.
Now we turn that back around into your company, and I know that's always your goal, is the people you have, they feel like this is part of them. Is that?
That's true. We're a team play.
Okay.
We are a total team play company. We build upon the team. We stick together as a team.
Yeah.
And it's very cohesive. I don't allow certain things. I don't like gossiping. I don't, and with the group of people I have now, it's intuitive. They know that.
Yeah, you attracted them anyway, so
Yeah,
it's going to be the same energy, right?
Yeah, and you know, time is money. Money is time. There's a time to play, and then there's a time to work. And I treat them just like I treat myself.
And there's structure.
There's structure.
There's structure, but you also, what I know about you too, which I think is so important as a leader, is you're gonna let them be who they are. They don't have to always paint inside the lines, right? Because that's it, kind of, they bring their own flavor. Because I know your staff.
They bring
right?
their own flavor.
And Lorraine has been with you from day one almost, right?
From day one with this new company.
From day one, and she's just growing. She's probably going to get licensed, right?
Right. As
a public adjuster. So the things that Annie brought to her life and the value that she brought is really second to none. She's building this girl's self-esteem and self-image to an amazing level, and that is another lead-in, and I need you to share. You also have 2 daughters.
I have 2 daughters,
okay.
A set of twins. Also, and what I believe about empowering not just everybody is empowering women.
Okay.
That whether you're going to work a man's job or you're going to work a female's job, it's really more cohesive nowadays. Just do that job, you always can. But I have found in raising children, and they both are strong and they're both sustainable.
And I want to share that because that's why I went there, right?
Yeah.
What you did really is what. Now I don't have kids, but it doesn't take a rocket science to know really what a parent's job is, and the fact that your job is really to create a productive person in society. I mean, if you really get down to the bare bones, would you agree?
I agree with that. And the other thing is, I found that teaching them, you know, I am a sports person, getting them to, rather what any kind of sport it is. I look at it as, you know, ballet, or whether it was...
Just stay open.
You stay open, but if you bring that in, children get that right away, and then education is number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's done that. I mean, her one daughter lives in Hawaii?
Yes, she lives in Hawaii.
And then the other one, talk about polar opposite, lives in Manhattan.
Oh, now she's up in Connecticut.
Okay, but she was in Manhattan, and she loved it, right?
Yeah,
she thrived on it. So
East Coast girl.
talk about polar opposite, which I think is really cool, and it says a lot about you and being a parent and bringing that. Let's get back to the women entrepreneurs or women corporate world, because, and I've said this before on other streams, is I'm a firm believer, being almost 50 years on this earth, that the baddest human being on the planet, bar none, is a woman. A woman that they can do it all, right? A good woman can run their own business, run their own division in a company, raise a family, work out, take care of their husband in different ways, and still look for more. And our DNAs, we just need to focus on one thing. You start giving us more, because, and I honestly believe that. So I think that by helping other women understand that, what they really have in them, because it is a special DNA. I mean, to be able to do all that on a daily basis that's badass. That's badass.
I have found most women thrive on doing multiple tasks at once.
It's their oxygen.
It's their
right?
oxygen. I actually will get a high from it.
Yes.
I do know that. But at the same time, I found that if you can pull down and be more detailed level and compartmentalize more like men do, then that really helps you also.
Oh, so the best of both worlds,
the best
right?
of both worlds.
Because you have that because look, most men just we're just not good at the multitasking. It just is what it is. I mean, it's tough.
It is tough. I keep my life on a maintenance. From where I live at, I call it a turnkey operation, to the office. I'm always looking for everything to be smooth and no hiccups. Is it always? No. But I've found that through being organized and being disciplined and running your household and your business, it frees up other time for you to go create.
Right, and it also opens up that vacuum that the universe can now fill for more business or more things that you want to do, right? Whether it's free time or more business, because you're telling the universe that you can handle it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I do believe in projecting. and you're projecting what you're capable of to the universe.
Okay.
Now, what the universe sometimes gives you back, you have to still cope with that.
Because you're not ready.
You're not ready.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. You think you are, right? But the universe says, no. We're not there yet. Yeah. We're not there yet. That's why it's so important to keep moving forward. Terry says, girl power. Hey, I'm right there with you. I want to be on the winning team, that's for sure. Anything else that I didn't share that you want to share with the women, especially the women out there that you know, a single mom that's trying to make it, right, and is not sure about tomorrow? They're out there.
Well, I would say the big thing is you don't always have to go big. I went very conservative, very small to start with. So if you find your passion and you can just do it in baby steps even, you will feel a huge sense of accomplishment.
Okay.
And that's not always with just creating money and wealth, but it's also maybe giving to charities, just your time, your effort, and you start small and then you build upon that.
Oh, I love that. I love that because, you know, we're not even thinking about that, but, you know, charities, nonprofits, it's such a big part of my life, but it's always a win-win. When you're doing it from the right place, it's always a win-win. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I've known many, especially yoga teachers or, you know, PTs and everything. You start out so small, but if you are good at what you do and you can market yourself and you go on the leap of faith, who knows what you can create out there.
Or it comes back to that level of awareness, so you align yourself with the right people, right? Because for me, when I look at a business, I have to enhance my weaknesses, make sure I have those people in the back end handling the things, and let me be in the front and double down on my strengths. So there you go. It goes back to your level of awareness. So, well, before we close out, any last thoughts? Because you have some great nuggets here.
No, I appreciate this, but I've always appreciated you. And again, we didn't talk about, I have an incredible network of people and that are very cohesive, and I've been working with them for years, but I started out without having any. So just know you can always build your network up in your business, and it starts at one person at a time. Now,
where can they find you, Annie, on social media or your website? Where can
I'm on website Annie Cat Claims Consulting. I'm also on Advantage Edge, and then I'm on LinkedIn. Okay, so when we get off, I'll share this with you, and then you can share it to your people and just put in all your information. Does that work? Sounds great.
Awesome. Okay. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to see you on the next episode next week, and keep making it happen.